The boardroom smelled faintly of coffee and polished wood. Sunlight spilled across the long table, catching the sharp edges of tablets and the glitter of glass water pitchers. I adjusted my notes, though I hardly needed them. Every slide, every argument had been rehearsed in my head for weeks. I had memorized the room, the slight lean of the finance director when skeptical, the way my boss's assistant twirled her pen when impatient, the tiny nod of encouragement from the junior analyst who usually stayed invisible. Then she arrived, without knocking, without pause. My boss's daughter, wearing confidence like armor, her presence rewriting the space as soon as she stepped in. She carried a subtle authority no one had asked for, but everyone seemed to recognize. I didn't greet her. I didn't look away. I simply waited. Actually, we're going with my concept instead, she announced, as though the room had been waiting for her verdict all along. Her voice carried easily over the slight rustle of papers. Everyone clapped. Polite, automatic applause that sounded hollow against my awareness. I remained seated, calm. I smiled. Soft, almost imperceptible. Enjoy the funding, I said. No one expected me to say it, and no one understood why I smiled. Not yet. The meeting moved on. I sat back, quiet, and watched her take the stage. Her slides were polished, her confidence unshaken. The room seemed to bend toward her, every head nodding, every pen jotting notes as if my work had never existed. And yet, I observed. I traced her arguments, counted the gaps, and noticed the subtle errors that everyone else overlooked. I didn't point them out. I didn't challenge her. There was no need. The hours that followed were a blur of emails, phone calls, and internal meetings. The office carried on as if the decision had been final, as if her approval had sealed everything. But in the quiet spaces, small details began to ripple beneath the surface. Spreadsheets she submitted didn't match the client's records. Timelines were overly optimistic. Contractors she had endorsed had reputations I recognized as unreliable. The pieces I had flagged weeks ago began to show cracks. I did not intervene. I simply watched, waited, and let the momentum reveal itself. The emotional tension churned beneath my calm exterior, but outwardly, I remained unreadable. Each day I rehearsed restraint, a deep, professional patience that felt almost like a skill in itself. I thought back to previous projects, moments when my ideas had been dismissed in favor of louder voices, flashier presentations, or convenient charm. Those memories carried sting, but they also taught me strategy. Silence could be a weapon, and time was often the most precise instrument of consequence. I waited for the moment when reality itself would intervene, and it came. 2 days later, mid-morning, the call arrived, a collapse not minor. A full $6 million deal had unraveled overnight. The reasons were unmistakable miscalculations, mismanagement, overpromises, and overlooked risks. The authority figures, who had previously been passive, now intervened decisively. The board's senior directors demanded explanations. Every misstep, every omission, every shortcut she had taken was under scrutiny. I observed quietly. From my desk, from the periphery of meetings, from the soft glow of late-night reports. My boss's daughter, so certain and poised 2 days prior, now struggled to justify her decisions. The room shifted, the weight of authority tangible and concrete. The silence that had once accompanied her commands now pressed against her words. No celebration followed, no triumphalist gestures, no gloating comments. Just the quiet, inevitable rebalancing of power. Colleagues offered restrained nods, subtle acknowledgments that things had changed. My professional reputation, previously overshadowed by her audacity, now carried weight in the room. I did not speak. I did not need to. The collapse and the intervention it invited communicated everything that needed to be said. My internal victory was calm, professional, and entirely private. Later in the quiet hours, I reviewed my original slides, my notes, my carefully laid arguments. Each seemed almost prescient in retrospect. I considered the contrast between appearance and competence, between assumed authority and earned respect. I reflected on the delicate balance of timing, restraint, and observation that had allowed the outcome to unfold naturally. By the end of the week, the office returned to its rhythm. The boardroom smelled of coffee again. Sunlight spilled across the glass water pitchers. People moved quietly, aware of subtle shifts in influence, but careful not to draw attention. My position had changed, but nothing felt dramatic or performative. I smiled once, privately, a soft acknowledgement that patience, when combined with awareness and professional integrity, could quietly prevail. I had not forced anyone's hand. I had not humiliated. I had simply let the structure of work, the clarity of oversight, and the inevitability of consequence deliver the lesson. The deal had collapsed. Her authority had faltered. And yet there was no revenge, no harsh punishment, just professional reality in its slow, inevitable movement. And for me, that was enough. Quiet victory without celebration, calm vindication without spectacle. The subtle authority that had once been stolen was restored, not through confrontation, but through observation, restraint, and timing. I left the office that evening with a sense of quiet reflection. The city streets were busy, indifferent. I had learned something about control, patience, and human flaws. The small, silent moments often carried more weight than any dramatic confrontation ever could. And for now, that sufficed.